We started out by building the base frame for the tree stand. We laid the 2x4 out on our workbench and measured 17.5 inches. After placing the speed square on the 2x4, we lined up the circular saw blade with the mark we had made and held the saw firmly against the speed square as we made a perfectly straight cut. We then took the piece we just cut, lined it up to the end of the remaining 2x4 stock, and marked a line where we needed to make another cut, ensuring that the pieces were the exact same length. With all 8 pieces of 2x4 cut down to 17.5 inches, we were ready to move on to the pieces of pallet wood. After having a little fight with the tape measure, we marked a line at 12 inches, and then we clamped the pieces to our workbench and used the circular saw to trim the piece down. Now if you want to see more shots like this and other behind the scenes pictures and videos, don't forget to follow us over on Instagram at Spenceley Design Co. After all the pallets were cut down to 12 inches, we were done with the saw and ready to move on to assembly. We laid out 2 of the 2x4 pieces on our workbench and then figured out how we wanted to arrange the pallets. After figuring out what combination looked the best, we applied a generous amount of wood glue and then nailed the pallets onto the 2x4. Now you absolutely could do this without a nail gun, you would just have to use some clamps to hold the pieces together while the glue cured. We continued gluing on the pallets to the 2x4, making sure that one side was flush with the end and the other side had about 2 inches of overhang. This overhang will allow the 2x4s to be hidden once we put all of the pieces together. Once all 4 side pieces were complete, we laid down some wood glue to the end with the overhang, spread it with a silicone brush, and then held the 2 pieces together with some 3-inch brad nails. We followed the exact same process to assemble the remainder of the box, making sure to get plenty of glue in the joints because the end grain of the 2x4 will want to soak up a lot of glue. And just to be sure, we threw some clamps on the box to hold everything tight while the glue dried. And once it did, there was a little bit of overhang on some of the sides, so we came back with the circular saw to trim it off. You could also cut all these pieces down the perfect width using the table saw before you assembled everything too. The last step was to construct a frame to go on the top and cover all of the remaining 2x4 pieces from above. We held a piece of pallet wood up to the box to figure out how long we wanted it, struck a line, and then used the circular saw to cut it to length. With the pieces cut down to length, we came back to our box and glued and nailed these top pieces down, making sure that they both had the same amount of overhang. And to fill up the remainder of the frame, we brought another piece of pallet wood to the box and marked a line where the 2 pieces intersected, cut it with the circular saw, and then attached it to the box. And with that, this project was done. We're so happy with how this project turned out. Not only did we get to cover that awful base of our Christmas tree, but we also got to clear a lot of the scraps out of our shop.